Hello, everyone. I'm Cambridge Mayor Kathryn McGarry. I'm so delighted to welcome everyone here today to the Cambridge Celebration of the Arts. This annual event started in 2003 to highlight local and locally connected visual, literary, and performing artists. While the goals are the same in this 18th year of the event, the COVID-19 pandemic, obviously, has forced some changes. So, allow me to welcome everyone to the first ever Cambridge Celebration of the Arts online premiere event. This year, we had 20 performing artists, 13 visual artists, and 4 literary artists apply. I'm so very excited to help to showcase some of the amazing talent that we have right here in Cambridge. It takes a strong committee to put together an event of this size. So at this time, I would like to thank the 11 dedicated volunteer committee members by name. So thank you to Chair Dennis Napper, Promotions and Social Media Coordinators Deanna Wells and Greg Wilson, Performing Arts Coordinator Laurel Swinden, Literary Arts Coordinator Jill Harrington-Fox, Site Coordinator Margie McLean, Sponsorship Coordinator Glodeane Brown, Youth Visual Coordinator Sharon Bal, Performing Arts Coordinator Assistant Kristine Dearlove, Visual Arts Coordinator Ingrid Talpak, Food and Beverage Coordinator Claudia Solis. And I must also thank Leanne Bond, the Cambridge's Recreation Coordinator Special Events. She worked hard to help the volunteers to transform a live event into an online event for all of Cambridge and the world. Over the years, this art celebration has had many dedicated sponsors. This year, I'd like to take a moment to thank Toyota Motor Manufacturing Canada. The company agreed to sponsor this first-time online Cambridge Celebration of the Arts premiere event. Thank you, Toyota. Now, please sit back in the comfort of your own home and enjoy this showcase of Cambridge's arts community. Thank you, and on with the show.
Hey all, this is Todd Donald, host of The Todd Donald Show, which is a weekly podcast where artists and performers go to chat about nothing, brought to you in part by Afternoon Tea. And I'm very excited to be a part of this year's Cambridge Celebration of the Arts.
Hi, we're Afternoon Tea Artists Collective, and I'm Deanna Bal, Singer-songwriter from the band Family Syndrome.
And I'm Suki with the Fractal Fox. I'm a visual artist.
And I'm Cody, a visual designer. I'm Cody Coyote.
And we're here to host the Cambridge Celebration of the Arts 2020. See you there.
Up first, we got Freshwater Funk, a jazz funk fusion band from the KW area.
Up next, Barb Day, spoken word artist, Toastmaster, and public speaking coach.
Tired of being hungry, tired of being homeless, tired of being judged. Crisis centers for the homeless are overcrowded. There's still options. Parks, abandoned buildings, alleyways. But don't seek shelter in the shadows. Flashing blades in dark alleys is no ice show. It's the blood on a knife. Crisis centers hand out coffee to those who can't stay, but your coffee goes cold fast on a frigid winter night. On the streets, you're like a broken-winged pigeon, scratching the crumbs of destitution. But soldier on, survivor, you are a warrior, bloody and worn, but still breathing. Estranged from family, your friends don't leave the porch light on anymore. A concrete pillow provides little comfort, but anxiety and pain are sleepless. It's somewhere, sometime in the week. Hunger and thirst can do that to you. Being homeless is hell. And winter for the homeless is when hell freezes over. Did you know that the number of homeless is expected to double by the year 2041? A high percentage of people living on the streets suffer from mental health and addictions. It could be your brother, your sister, your son, your daughter, your friend. Imagine you have nothing. No food, no clothing, no shelter, no friends, no family, nothing. I ask myself, what do I know about being homeless? And the answer was, not much. On December 22nd, 2019, I sat at my kitchen table packaging 40 peanut butter and jam sandwiches and care packages containing items such as throat lozenges and warm socks. And I set out with a friend to participate in a walk for the homeless. I had no idea how many volunteers would show up at the Salvation Army parking lot that day, but the volunteers came. They brought their kids, they brought their dogs, they were wearing Santa hats and pulling wagons full of gifts with Christmas stockings for the poor. They came with smiles on their faces and love in their hearts. And 50 people walked along the downtown streets that day, singing Christmas carols and looking for the homeless. And we didn't look far. Before we even left the parking lot, we gave care packages and cookies to a young man. Outside of a coffee shop, we gave food and care packages to an old homeless man, and all he could say was, "Wow, thank you." Then we went to Rosewood House, where we left bags of clothing and food for the women and men sheltered there. Next, we went to Brant's Crossing, where we provided care packages and Christmas stockings for the homeless huddled under blankets near the bridge. Then we went to the Winter Emergency Shelter, where we provided coffee cards and care packages and communication. I noticed how one young man couldn't stop thanking us through his tears. I noticed how one young girl, a resident of the shelter who didn't look to be more than 17 years old, said, if anyone here was having a bad day, they're not having a bad day anymore. I noticed how extremely thankful they were to receive even the smallest package. I noticed how they shared their gifts with their friends. What can you do to help the homeless? Even something as simple as a friendly hello on the streets can make a difference. When you're homeless, you feel like you're invisible to the world. I learned that day that a little bit of love can go a long way. I learned that day that my small voice has the power to make a difference. I learned that day that all of our voices together can bring hope to the homeless. I learned that day that all of our voices together can make the difference between life and death on the streets.
Swati Mohan, a flautist performing in Canada and India.
Namaste, my name is Swati. Today I'll be playing Nagumomu Ganaleni, a composition of Tyagarajaru in Abheri Raga.
Up next, we have Ophelia Syndrome, Keys and Cello Coffee House Rock from Hamilton, Ontario.
Next, we have Elizabeth Kennedy, an award-winning multimedia visual artist.
Hello. God bless. My name's Liz Kennedy, Elizabeth A. Kennedy, and I'm an artist. I do music, film, and I paint, and I write. And sometimes I just refer to that as mixed media. When I was young, I had an interest in painting depictions of Jesus Christ. And I spent a lot of time doing this.
Up next, we have Emmy Lee Small, a singer and guitar uke player from Cambridge.
Like a tattoo of us, your memory. pictures, take them down, let them linger. I know, it's better to have loved than lost, you never know just what it costs. Left your mark like a tattoo of hearts. Your memory forever on my sleeve. I'm not good at goodbyes, but this time I really try. 'Cause you can help where you're meant to be, even if it's not with me. And I can't believe how fancy free, how you feel without me. You should dance with me until we couldn't breathe. Would you dance without me? Left your mark like a tattoo of hearts. Your memory forever on my sleeve. I'm not good at goodbyes, but this time I really try. 'Cause you can help where you're meant to be, even if it's not with me.
Next, we have April Boehmer, a poet and creative writer with 11 books of poetry published.
Hello, my name is April Boehmer. I'm a local Cambridge poet and writer. I'm going to read a piece from a manuscript in progress called Feats of Weakness. I received Ontario Arts Council funding to write it. The manuscript explores relationships between sickness and spirituality and is written in the form of fictional prose. The piece I will read is called Keys to the Warlocks and is a short series, mystical in theme and poetic in its imagery and rhythm. Keys to the Warlocks. Bulbs. This morning I hung an amulet between my breasts. The warlocks flew and I was free to do as I will. I pulled their wedding rings from my fingers and buried them. This morning, chrysanthemums bloom beneath the autumn sun. I bloom too, for the warlocks who haunted walked out of my body. Their soft boots scarred the earth, damp with dew. And so I planted flower bulbs in her distressed womb that night. Dreams. But the warlocks returned, and I touched Dylan, their leader, a curly-haired healer who required healing himself. Demons flew from him, and he rested then in a soft bed of down. When he woke, he told me of a dream that haunted me until I broke bread and steeped tea. In the dream, a one-legged man wore short pants. He offered a hawk his bony wrist. The bird, like the man, was missing a limb. I think Dylan was weak, and the dream told us so. I offered him my bosom and the long lay of my soul. When we woke from slumber, he shared a new dream. Christopher, a warlock and psychiatrist, prescribed him lithium tablets and cold water. The disabled man appeared again and bore his own weight on canes, and the hawk balanced above him on the terrible wind. Tongues. When my father passed, I too fell ill. It was Thursday, and Dylan touched me gentle in the sick bay. He was well then, but I lingered on a gurney in a women's ward. He prescribed morphine and other tablets that delivered me from pain, one of them green. I slept fitfully, but when I woke, my fever broke, for Dylan and the other warlocks who patrolled the unit whispered words in tongues I did not speak. If you're interested in my work, my most recent book of poetry is called Out of Darkness, Light. It was published by Hidden Brook Press in its John B. Lee Signature Series and was a finalist in the Next Generation Indie Book Awards in the U.S. in their spirituality category. It was funded by the Ontario Arts Council, the Bernice Adams Bursary, and Arts Connect Cambridge. It describes a congregation of fictional women in Cambridge who worship by the Grand River. The cost is $23.95, and that includes postage. And you can order it by writing to april.poet@bell.net.
Get ready for Marcus Starr, a blues, rock, and alt country singer-songwriter.
Greetings, it's Marcus Starr here. I'm going to sing you a song I just wrote. It's called Alone With You. It's about a married couple and they're planning their first night out in a long time. Alone with you. I'm going to the city. We're going to the show. We're gonna have a party. Come on, it's time to go. We're gonna rock and roll and do hoochie coo on that red dress, honey. I got my blue suede shoes. We're gonna dance all night like there's nothing left to lose. So nothing feels as good as when I'm alone with you. Hey, alone with you. Alone with you. Hey, alone with you. It's been so long that we gone out and had ourselves a ball. Hey, bartender, please fill my cup until I stumble and fall. I'm gonna moving on up and then we'll shake it on down. If we make last call, we'll tear this whole place to the ground. When morning comes, we'll be sleeping in our shoes. Still, nothing feels as good as when I'm alone with you. Hey, alone with you. Alone with you. Alone with you. Oh. Do you remember cherry cola or the driving by the lake? Or making love to Frantic City? Well, then shake, shake, shake. And power of love, Huey Lewis sang the news. Yes, nothing feels as good as when I'm alone with you. Hey, alone with you. Alone with you. Hey, alone with you. Alone with you. All right, thanks. My name is Marcus Starr. Check me out on Spotify and Facebook and all that jazz. Right on.
Up next, we have John Steinberg, a visual artist from Cambridge.
So these here are my two favorite pieces. In the foreground, we have a steel wire bonsai tree mounted on a salt rock. This is my favorite piece because it evolves and changes over time. Originally, the rock was pure white, but over time, elements in the copper and steel of the tree have reacted slowly with the copper, and it slowly is destroying itself, which I find very interesting because I don't think art is necessarily meant to be permanent, and it's really cool watching it change and evolve over time. And in the background, we have the grotto in Tobamore, which is one of my favorite places to be. The water is really cold. There's a beautiful cave system, beautiful woods. It's pristine. It's wonderful. And if you want to see it empty like this, you have to wake up very, very, very early in the morning because it is usually packed. And then to the top right, we have a reflection of a ceiling fan. And I like ceiling fans because they keep me cool in the summer. Thank you very much. This is John Steinberg, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Mayor Celebration of the Arts.
Get excited for Madison Galloway.
I should have lived a long time ago. Well, I should have lived a long time ago. Don't know why it's just so long. I should have lived a long time ago.
Welcoming Wendy Whiteside, an award-winning painter from Guelph, Ontario.
Hello, my name's Wendy Whiteside, and I'm a painter in Guelph, Ontario. I'm happy to be part of the Cambridge Celebration of the Arts 2020, and I want to thank the organizers for keeping the arts connected to our community during this unusual time. So, in my paintings, I like to capture memories that we want to hold on to and never forget. And I want the pieces to take us back to perhaps the quiet moments in life that we've enjoyed. This first painting here is very characteristic of my work because I do paint a lot of water. And the reason that I like to paint water is because of the colors, because of the texture and the feeling of movement in the water, and also because of the reflections that we see in the water. This painting is oil, and I did it on birchwood panel. So this next painting is of a different time of the year. It's an autumn painting, and I painted this one because I wanted to capture the bright colors that we see in the autumn, and I wanted to show the depth of the forest as well. And this is a great memory for me of a scene that I came upon when I was hiking last fall. This one is also oil paint on birchwood panel. And this last one I'd like to show you is also very characteristic of my work because of the water and the reflections, and also because of the canoe. I have many paintings that I've done over the years that have a canoe as part of the composition. One thing I like about this painting is that we have an object, the boat, very close up in the foreground. And then we have this scenery of the cliffs far off in the distance. And that was a lot of fun to paint. This piece is acrylic paint, and it's also on birchwood panel. Thank you so much for looking at my work today. And if you would like to contact me, I can be contacted through my website, which is www.mindpeaceart.com, or through my name, Wendy Whiteside, on Instagram. And I hope you enjoy your summer. Thank you.
Natasja Dubra, a pianist and chamber musician with over 10 years performing locally and also internationally.
Laura Cook is a walkabout photographer in the Waterloo region.
Hi there, Laura Cook here, photographic artist born, raised, and residing in beautiful Cambridge. I've been photographing since 2004, and I draw my inspiration from the world around me. My work is very diverse. If you've seen it before, you know. It ranges realism, abstract, impressionism, and then subject matters of floral, rust, industrial, and the list goes on. And that's because there's just so much beauty that surrounds me and it inspires me. However, today I'm going to focus on sharing some of my city views collection with you. One of my favorite places to photograph is downtown Galt. The historic architecture, bridges, and river views ignite my inspiration and heightens my sentimentality. Here's just a few of my recent city views. I love spending time along the river. I find it relaxes and refreshes my soul. This piece is called Evening Glow. It's such a quiet, peaceful time of evening, enjoying the river on an early summer's evening. The day is headed out, the evening is coming on, and you've got that gorgeous hue of blue when that transition takes place and the lights start coming on, giving you that warm evening glow. So I spent a lot of time here just reflecting and taking it all in. This is one of my more recent favorites, and I hope you enjoy it too. This piece here is called City View. I love the arches of the Main Street Bridge, and I spend a lot of my time in this area photographing these type of scenes because those arches are just incredible. The contrast between the different styles of architecture in the background are also quite fascinating to me. I love the gritty brick building. Actually, it's one of my favorites along the river. I just love the grittiness of that red brick and the windowsills in yellow and the fire escapes that are on the back side of the building. The front side of the building is stunning too, up towards the top. When you're walking down the street, take a look. And the graffiti on the side of the building too is also, it's just got so much character. I love it. Love it. And finally, we have Foggy Flyby. I especially love watching the geese, ducks, and pigeons take flight around the river, watching them interact and just seeing their different flight patterns and their behavior. It's just really intriguing to me. So this image was created in the fall. I love the warm tones of the colors throughout the image here. And the strength of the central Presbyterian on the right side of the frame. And the arches, of course, the arches, just those curves are just, I'm fascinated with the Main Street Bridge. I love it. And so this one is Foggy Flyby, and I hope that you enjoy this piece too. So as you can see, Cambridge has much beauty to discover at all times of the day, in all weather conditions, and throughout the seasons. It's my joy and pleasure to create beautiful photographs with these city views for you to enjoy in your space. So feel free to have a look at my website to see more of this collection. And if you'd like, get in touch and we can get these city views into your space.
And finally, Shy Harry, a well-known rock band from Cambridge.
All right, boys, are we ready? 1, 2.
I know what I want, I got nowhere to reach it. Know what I need, man, I really need it. Feeling the end, got nowhere to start. Give me a song, got
can't help myself, dying for another year. I'll walk away, I'm not ready to go. I'm here to play, I can't leave it alone. Give me a drink, man, I don't need stress. Give me a bar, cause I'm needing a rest. I'm needing a rest. I can't help myself, dying for another year. 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 Dying for another year.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for tuning in.
See you next year.
On behalf of Afternoon Tea, we thank you for your continued support of the arts from the comfort of your home during these trying times. We miss you and love you. Stay safe.